Hey, I've been exploring Golang from the past couple of weeks, and I think interface is one of the very vast topic that exists in Golang. That's one of the reason why I make this video because it is one of the most important topic. So to begin with, what is interface? So interface are just collections of method signature. So when we say collection here, so interface defines the behavior of objects. So, and it's totally up to you whether to use them or not in your code. But using interface in your code makes it more cleaner and readable because they provide nice API between the packages or server and client. Let's begin this with a basic example. Suppose you're writing a graphics driver in your system, and as a part of its implementation, you need a lot of methods. Okay, and consider that you have an interface of type called screen, and which implements following methods. Each has a methods called dimension, origin, clear, refresh, and drop. Each performs its own operations. And now, outside of your program, it really shouldn't care which of these drivers you might be using, as long as it can clear, refresh, and like do all the operations what you want to do. This is called abstraction, and you provide at the package level at the absolute minimum that is required for the rest of your program to work. So only the graphics, internal graphics, knows what is the implementation of each of these operations, how it performs. That makes it outside of our graphic driver. We know only the methods which are exposed as a part of interface will be accessible. Let's start the interface example with a program. As a part of this, suppose you're building an enterprise system and you have a different types of employee structures, and the goal is to find out the total expenses you spend per month in the as a company. And let's see how we implement interfaces here. So when we say we have two different types of structure, define the structure first. So permanent, one is permanent structure, and permanent employees will have a employee ID of type string, PF, salary is int, and basic pay of type integer. And second is temporary worker, struct will have employee ID that's of type string and will have only basic pay. So now, to calculate the salary of each workers, we need to implement a methods. It has to receive this type and gives the output of it. Like so, let's declare the methods that takes inputs of each of these type structures. Say permanent takes employee variable and of type permanent. So this is a method and it returns type integer. So the salary will be calculated. The permanent worker salary will be calculated as it's a sum of PF and basic pay. Similarly, in case of temporary workers, let's take the example and returns type integer. So the temporary workers will have only the basic pay. So we just have to return basic pay. Okay. Let's get into the interface part. So interface is just similar to structure implementation, but instead of structure, it is a interface. So the name of the interface is like what you're trying to do, the behavior of the methods. Okay. So the actually we are calculating the salary. So let's name it salary calculated. Salary calculated. Of type interface. So it performs the operation of this is the only method this interface is going to perform. So it returns integer obviously. Now to get into the actual main implementation. So let's use the structures which we created earlier. So the employee one of type permanent is going to have a, let's give some employee ID, employee one, basic pay as 2000 and PF 500. Let's consider this. Similarly, employee 2, we need to make use of the temporary worker. For example, temporary worker will have only employee ID. So 2 and 1000. It's okay. So now we need to, like, okay, the main goal for us to figure out the total expenses which spent on these two employees. Okay, so using the interfaces, so let's create a slides, okay, with the type of array type with this interface salary calculator which you already created, which takes input of employee 1 and employee 2. Okay, now I need to pass this interface to a function. Let it calculate the total salary. So let's define a function. It is a total expense here, and which takes something salary calculated. That's the interface here which we declare here. And this is where I'm calculating the expense of total expense. For I don't mind the index. I want only the value. Let's arrange over the s which I'm missing inside here. So my expense is going to be expense plus the methods which I have as a part of my interface. That's it. So each time it's going to return for each employee. Let's print the total interface here. Total expense. It's going to be expense. Okay, I need to pause my interface to total expense. Expense. Let's run the program and see. This is the total expenses we calculated. When you see 2,500 total. So this gives you a rough idea about what is the interface we are using, right? So let's imagine in the future we are adding extra some other type of employee. Consider it is like let's add it here. Okay, type of probably a freelancer. Freelancer is going to be with a struct. We have to declare struct, and freelancer will have employee ID. Let's have employee ID something. Consider it. And what is hourly rate? It's going to be some integer, and then total hours. Okay, so the freelancer salary is going to be depends on his hourly rate plus the total hours he worked on the company. So again we need to have a method declared for the freelancer. It's going to be a freelancer. So it's correct. Oh, it's correct. Okay, so it's going to be a just not to make any mistake. I just copy paste the values here. Okay, and I just have to declare a variable called employee 3 is going to be a freelancer. Take it off. ID going to be 3 VHA's hourly rate is going to be 50, and the total hours is going to be like probably 10 or so. All we just have to do is just pause the variable here. There's nothing we need to do. Yeah, the same implementation, everything works. There's no change in the function which we are exposing. So that makes it very useful for it, like in case of in-use interface. I hope this is useful for you. And yeah, if you have any questions, just drop a comment. If you have any questions, just drop a comment below. And if you want me to cover any other topic, let me know. Thank you. See you in the video. Bye.